Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is May 7th, and I am back home from my storm chase out across some of Texas and New Mexico the last few days. I'll share some of those pictures at some point here, still kind of getting settled in, got in fairly late last night. But taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery here across the southwest USA, you can still see we have the spin in the atmosphere here right across the California-Arizona border. It's going to kick off some showers today. We'll take a look at those details. We'll take a look at what is to come after that, and then the potential for another system as we move towards next weekend, and we'll look at that here in a moment. Now, taking a look at the last 24 hours lightning strike activity, look at these thunderstorms from prolific lightning producers. I think we had some hail reports, some gusty winds. There was even a tornado across portions of Arizona. We'll take a look at those storm reports here in a moment. But yeah, you can see, again, some pretty active weather here across a lot of the desert areas of California, some of southern Nevada, and portions of western Arizona. And if we take a look at yesterday, let me scroll through this, and I think we're going to have to grab this and put on the Ghost Arrive. That tends to drop off there. And then you can see as we scroll through the day yesterday, you'll see the thunderstorms start up across southern Nevada, then watch them blossom across portions of the extreme southern Sierra, it looks like, and then it moves off across a lot of the desert areas. But look at some of these thunderstorms, prolific lightning producers, hundreds of lightning strikes. And then it wrapped up as we went through the overnight hours and on through this morning. There still is the spin. There's still a couple of thunderstorms firing off there on the southern periphery of this spin in the atmosphere, and it's going to kick off again some few showers today. And take a look at this for Las Vegas, Nevada. 2025 is already the wettest May on record for Las Vegas, Nevada. Typically not a very wet area here, of course, Las Vegas. And 1.44 inches of rain. And it's only May 7th, the first week of May. It already set a record for the most precipitation in the month of May. And you can see where that tornado report was. And if I click on that, you see Prescott Valley. It looks like it did some damage to a roof there and sent a trash can flying into the air. Nothing too extreme, but there was some blowing dust and numerous flash flooding reports with those thunderstorms yesterday. So again, very active weather. Now, taking a look at the last 7 days, you can kind of see where the heaviest precipitation has fallen. You can see the transverse range here as well. Some pretty good amounts. Some areas getting up over 2 inches, kind of hit and miss nature there with this thunderstorm activity. You can see where I was out chasing across some of New Mexico towards Texas. Some heavier precipitation amounts as well. So here we go, 2-meter temperature anomaly. I believe this is just the 2-day here, and you can kind of see this low pressure system spinning here. We have been below normal. Some places, you're looking at 15 degrees below normal across a lot of Arizona. A lot of the desert areas here, kind of a nice break from the norm, and you can see actually over the last 2 days warmer than normal here across some of this northern San Joaquin Valley to the Sacramento Valley and much of northern California as well. Now, thunderstorm threat today. Again, Utah, Arizona, east. Not expecting thunderstorms across Nevada and portions of California today, but can't rule out a couple lightning strikes kind of earlier in the day here across the extreme southern portion of Nevada, or maybe extreme southeastern California. And then by day 2, this is moving off to the east. There goes day 3. So if we look at the high resolution rapid refresh, you can see, again, the spin in the atmosphere here, again, keeping that thunderstorm activity generally across Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. Nothing showing up for California here for the next couple of days. So this one is getting out of our hair, and then we will look to see what is coming next. Quickly here with the winds, not looking at anything too extreme. You can see the typical northwest wind down the coastal areas here, a little bit breezy here during some of the evening and nighttime hours, but nothing too extreme. Just want to kind of show you the winds are calming down. Now, looking at the European model, 500 millibar height. So there is the last gasp of our upper level low, kind of a ridge building in here. We are going to warm up here as we go through the next few days. But then as we scroll off in towards the weekend, we get this next trough starting to show up here by the time we get into Sunday. And then as we go through the early portion of next week, this one wants to swing down and get reestablished here. So again, this is last night's European model run. You can see how the trough kind of extends down here in kind of a closed low way off across the Pacific Ocean. But this is the next system we are watching. Still some model disagreement here as we go on in towards the early portion of next week. And if we take a look and scroll out and see what that would bring, and that was right at the end of the run. So we're going to go ahead and look at this precipitation. Kind of see it creeping down, impacting Northern California at first. Bit of an inside slider. Again, it depends on just how this trough sets up, how far west, how strong the troughing will be, how deep will any surface low get, how chilly we're going to be aloft, and the general track of this storm is going to mean everything. So something for us to watch here over the next few days. And you can kind of see as we go through the early portion of next week, they are talking about this. You see Crescent City and Fort Bragg, for example, the percentage for precipitation starts to go up by the time you get into Sunday night, Monday, and on into Tuesday. But before that, we have the early May temperature warm up. There is going to be some moderate heat risk out there for some areas, especially the desert areas as well. You can kind of see Furnace Creek is right there in the major, but I mean, Death Valley is used to that stuff. But you see moderate across some of the San Joaquin Valley, Fresno, and Bakersfield right there. Maybe some of the foothills of the Sacramento Valley. I mean, it's one of the earlier season warm ups here. But yeah, you guys know how to beat the heat, I'm sure, living across California and much of the Southwest. Excuse me. Now looking at Saturday, take a look at this. 108 for Palm Springs, 105 for Thermal. You can see Octillo Wells there at 105. And of course, you can get up towards the coastline. It is cooler there. But look at Anaheim warming up towards 90 degrees. Escondido, 91 also. And as we go, look off a bit further north towards Sacramento, again, Friday, Saturday, you can see some warm days there for Redding, Red Bluff, Modesto, Marysville, Chico, Sacramento, Stockton. And then we start to bring those temperatures down as potential of that next trough starts to roll through. And again, just kind of minor heat risk coming up here. Not a big deal. Just thought I'd show you here the graphic that was put out yesterday by the National Weather Service. And again, this is the showers wrapping up today. Las Vegas, National Weather Service with a decent graphic here, but these are pushing off to the east, as they mentioned, weakening, moving away late afternoon. Now, if we look at the artificial intelligence model, the European, this does show the ridge building here. We warm up, and then this trough, more of an inside slider. This would have lesser impacts here than what the European deterministic. So you can see the model disagreement that we do have as we go on in towards the later portion of the weekend and on in through the early stage of next week. You can kind of see some systems impacting the Pacific Northwest here, but this ridge kind of redeveloping along the west coast of North America, and we'll see what is to come in the future. Don't want to look too far out, of course, because these details are going to change. Now, looking at daily 2-meter maximum temperature. This is for today, Wednesday, May 7th. You can see some mid and upper 80s here for the valley areas. The desert areas are still a little bit on the cooler side here, and you see Southern California into the 70s. Start to warm things back up tomorrow, and Death Valley probably punching up over 100 degrees, it looks like. And by the time we get towards Friday, you can see the mid 90s starting to return here for a lot of the valley areas. Southern California is definitely warming up. Even across the Bay Area here, you're starting to heat things up by the time you get towards Friday, and the desert areas going up over 100. Saturday, very warm temperatures across the desert areas, and again, you're getting some pretty warm temperatures all the way up the Sacramento Valley. But by Sunday, that next trough starts to show its face, and it's showing up in the national blend of models here. As you can see, things cool off as we go on into Monday and Tuesday, definitely cooling things back down. But again, the strength in the position of this trough is going to mean everything. Then we go to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and start to bounce those temperatures back again, of course. And look at the snowpack, not doing too hot, 66% of normal. We are on the decline right now, and just a reminder here that a lot of Southern California gets its water from the Colorado River. It's not really too bad here. There's tier 1 shortages out there, but really it's not too bad overall. I know some of the snowpack across some of the Colorado River basin is not good, but it's not that high on a normal basis here at this time of year anyway. And kind of an interesting thing, you can go to things like Public Works, Los Angeles County. If you want to know more about this, you can see the water supply. There are a couple aquifers that run from the north, and you can see the Colorado River here on the kind of a crude sketch here with the aquifer kind of bringing it back towards Southern California. They talk about where the imported water comes from, the Colorado River, Los Angeles Aqueduct, things like that, the State Water Project. So fun stuff there. And the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, again, the Climate Prediction Center is showing that next trough showing up here across the west coast, and you can see the above average conditions, central portions of the USA, but it's a little bit more bullish with this trough and the above average signal there that accompanies it as we go through May 12th through May 16th. So yeah, anyway, good to be back here. Hope you guys have been having a good time out there. And I don't know if you guys, anybody got any of those lightning strikes yesterday, send it to me on my Patreon page. That link will be down below. What else? We'll do this again tomorrow. We'll take a look at what the weather models show on next weekend and early next week's trough, and I will talk to you guys then.